Okay, so when you have a large carbon chain, because it is carbon and hydrogen are nonpolar, then the polarity and solubility in water decrease. Sometimes there are ruthless questions that say the solubility in a nonpolar solvent, so then it would be nonpolar is going to dissolve in nonpolar. That is sufficiently ruthless, okay, that kind of question. And when you have an increase in the number of carbons, then you get more dispersion forces. So like methanal and octanol, for example. So there's really three classes, okay? There's very low melting and boiling point because it's fully nonpolar like a hydrocarbon, or it is going to be polar like C double bond O, or an ether C single bond O, which I'm going to call it's in the middle, it's polar. But the ones that will hydrogen bond by themselves are things that make OH or NH. So you can see on your chart, some of the boxes are very small and some of the boxes are very big. Okay, that's on purpose. So we're going to go to the bottom. Now, it says family, so you can decide. I think I tried to draw as many of them as I possibly could. If you want, at the bottom, you can just write hydrocarbons. But let me go and find it. So we're going to start at the bottom first, okay? So we did single bonds, double bonds, triple bonds, cyclo. We did benzene ones. If you would rather just write hydrocarbons, you can do that, okay? So at the top here, do they form hydrogen bonds? No. Are they polar or nonpolar? NP stands for nonpolar. Are they soluble in water? No, because they're not polar. And then how does the melting and boiling point, are they affected? Because it's only dispersion forces, then you have to look for the number of carbons. So if you do not prefer short forms, and you want to write the words in, some of it's already filled out, okay? So this chart from the bottom to the top is going to go in order the way we learned it. So what's next? We learned alcohols. So alcohols, they have a big spot because they have the highest melting and boiling point because of the OH. So you can literally, the big spots, they are the most important molecules, okay? Okay, ready? So alcohols, this is Y for yes. Yes, they form with water, hydrogen bonds, and with other alcohols. So if you want, it says if small, that means less than or equal to 4 carbons. And you would see that's sort of a criteria in the note. But if you just want to write small, that's fine. So what does P stand for? Polar. So again, if you hate short forms, write it out. Y is yes. This is because I tried to sneak it in. Yes, Emma. Yeah, so you start at the bottom and then go next one up. Yep. So it should be bigger. Okay, then the next one is ethers. Ethers don't hydrogen bond with themselves, only with water. So they're in the middle. They're polar, but no H bonds with themselves. Okay, so there's 3 basic categories. actually. And then same thing with aldehydes and ketones. They do not have OH, so they cannot make hydrogen bonds with themselves. Okay, so I crossed out a couple questions in the alcohols and ethers. And if you go to the reaction sheet at the bottom, we are not going to do elimination. So if you want to eliminate that, haha. So none of those questions. So down here, it's at the very bottom. Elimination reactions don't work very well anyways. They're not as exciting. So just cross it out on the summary chart and don't do number 8 and don't do 6B on page 48, okay? Those are elimination questions and we're not doing that. So I crossed it out here and I'll fix D2L in a second. I crossed it out here and I said no B here, okay? And then I'll fix D2L. So normally what happens is we have a quiz, which is naming and drawing and properties for these sections, and it is no reactions. So then there's more reactions on the test and less naming and drawing. So tonight I'm going to have to really look and think about what I want the test to be, and then I'll give you good review tomorrow. And we're going to do the labs on Thursday plus the review. So at least probably half of tomorrow and all day Thursday to do review and the labs, which help with the reactions and the properties for sure. And so on D2L, what I did, so again, even though that one worksheet says quiz review, there is no quiz, okay? But it will practice some of this stuff if you're looking for more. So what I did was, since the quiz is usually after aldehydes and ketones, that's where I put the review solutions, including the sheet that says practice. Okay, so it's all in there. Also, and it worked fine today. So it says underneath where it says reactions of hydrocarbons, that's where I put the video. So there'll be one for reactions of hydrocarbons, alcohols and ethers, aldehydes and ketones, and even the properties chart. Okay? If you want to rewatch it or whatever. But lots of time tomorrow, lots of time Thursday to ask questions. Yes, but Ms. Lomax said it was very fast at